Welcome to the Internet Files. In today's episode, we explore one of the greatest mysteries in modern aviation, the disappearance of Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370. In 2014, a commercial airliner vanished without a trace, carrying 239 people on board. Despite one of the largest international searches in history, the mystery remains unsolved. On March 8, 2014, Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370 departed from Kuala Lumpur International Airport, bound for Beijing, China. The aircraft, a Boeing 777, took off at 12:41 a.m. local time with 227 passengers and 12 crew members. About 40 minutes after takeoff, the flight reached its cruising altitude of 35,000 feet. At 1:19 a.m., the cockpit made its final transmission to air traffic control.
Good night, Malaysian 370.
Moments later, the plane disappeared from civilian radar. Military radar later tracked MH370, making a sharp turn to the west, deviating from its planned route and heading toward the Indian Ocean. By 2:22 a.m., it had vanished completely. No signal, no distress call, no trace. A massive multinational search began almost immediately, covering millions of square kilometers across the South China Sea, the Andaman Sea, and the Indian Ocean. But as days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, no wreckage was found. The disappearance of MH370 soon became one of the most perplexing mysteries in aviation history. And with the absence of answers, a storm of theories and speculation began to emerge. Since the disappearance of the airplane, there have been many theories about what may have happened, some more plausible than others. Let's have a look at the main theories. One of the earliest and most logical explanations was sudden cabin depressurization. A technical failure could have caused the cabin to lose pressure, depriving everyone on board of oxygen, a condition known as hypoxia. When hypoxia occurs, the crew and passengers lose consciousness within minutes. Possible scenario: if the pilots became incapacitated, the plane could have continued on autopilot until it ran out of fuel, eventually crashing into the ocean. Evidence in favor of this theory: there have been similar incidents in aviation history, where aircraft continued to fly long distances with unresponsive crews, consistent with MH370's path. Challenges of this theory: before disappearing, MH370 made a series of deliberate turns and system shutdowns. Those actions would have required manual control, making it unlikely that everyone in the cockpit was unconscious. Another widely discussed theory is that the disappearance was a deliberate act by Captain Zahari Ahmad Shah, the 53-year-old pilot of MH370. Some investigators believe he may have intentionally diverted the plane, either for personal reasons or as a planned disappearance. Possible scenario: after signing off from air traffic control at 1:19 a.m., Zahari may have disabled communication systems, turned west, and flown toward the Indian Ocean following a preset flight path. Evidence in favor of this theory: at Zahari's home, authorities found a computer flight simulator that included a route over the southern Indian Ocean, remarkably similar to MH370's last known trajectory. He also did not leave a suicide note, suggesting a possible intent to vanish without a trace. Challenges on this theory: no clear motive has ever been found. Colleagues described Zahari as experienced, calm, and respected. There was no evidence of mental instability or radical ideology. Some believe MH370 may have been hijacked or remotely hacked. Possible scenario: the aircraft could have been physically hijacked or digitally taken over, diverting it to an unknown location, possibly for use in a terrorist act or covert operation. Evidence in favor of this theory: the abrupt change in course and the intentional shutdown of communication systems suggest that someone with advanced technical knowledge was at the controls. The complete lack of debris or passenger remains for over a year further fueled speculation that the plane might have landed elsewhere. Challenges of this theory: no group has ever claimed responsibility, and the flight never sent any distress signals, something almost always present during a hijacking. Investigators found no credible evidence of outside interference. This theory suggests that the Malaysian government, or possibly other global powers, concealed key information about the flight's disappearance. Possible scenario: MH370 may have been diverted to a military testing zone, or carried sensitive cargo or passengers linked to intelligence operations. A cover-up could have been staged to hide the true cause or location of the incident. Challenges of this theory: no concrete proof of a cover-up has ever emerged. Maintaining a conspiracy of this scale across multiple governments would be nearly impossible. Though dismissed by experts, some believe the plane may have been taken by a force beyond human understanding. Possible scenario: MH370 could have been abducted by an unknown or extraterrestrial force, explaining its total disappearance without evidence. Evidence in favor of this: for months, not a single trace of the aircraft was found, an unimaginable scenario in an age of advanced satellite technology. Challenges about this theory: while compelling to the imagination, this theory lacks any scientific basis, especially now that confirmed wreckage has been recovered. For over a year, the world searched without finding a single clue. Then, on July 29, 2015, a breakthrough: a flaperon, a movable part of a Boeing 777's wing, washed ashore on Réunion Island, off the coast of Africa. It was over 2,400 miles from MH370's last known position. Experts from Boeing confirmed the debris belonged to MH370, providing the first tangible evidence that the plane had crashed into the Indian Ocean. Between 2016 and 2018, additional fragments surfaced along the coasts of Madagascar, Mozambique, South Africa, and Mauritius, including pieces of the fuselage, cabin panels, and interior components. Some bore deep scratches and corroded edges, signs of a violent impact. Out of more than 30 recovered fragments, only a handful were conclusively identified as MH370. The rest remain probable but unconfirmed. The debris helped narrow the search zone using ocean current models, pointing toward a remote area in the southern Indian Ocean. Between 2014 and 2017, Australia led the largest underwater search in aviation history, scanning more than 120,000 square kilometers of ocean floor. Despite this, no wreckage from the main fuselage or black boxes was found. In 2018, the private company Ocean Infinity conducted a new, high-tech underwater search, but again, no significant discoveries were made. Even with confirmed debris, many mysteries remain. Why were only small fragments recovered, while engines, seats, and luggage are still missing? Did the plane break apart mid-air, or did it crash intact into the water? Was the wreckage placed deliberately, or carried naturally by the current? The official investigation concluded that MH370 crashed into the Indian Ocean, yet no definitive explanation for how or why has ever been found. The disappearance of flight MH370 remains one of the most haunting modern enigmas, a case where technology, expertise, and global cooperation all failed to bring closure. For the families of the 239 souls on board, the answers are still out there, somewhere beneath the endless waves. Was it mechanical failure, deliberate human action, or something we cannot yet explain? We may never know. Follow the Internet Files for more investigations into history's most enduring mysteries. And remember, every mystery has a story, but not always an answer.